Hello, everyone. My name is Denise Cordero. I am a holistic life coach and soul mentor. You are tuning into Diving Deep with Denise. This podcast intends to create a sisterhood, a tribe of women that gets to have raw and authentic conversations about all expressions of what it is to be embodied as a woman. Through the vulnerable sharing of our stories, we get to invite other women to share theirs, to be empowered, to be healed, and to boldly step into their authenticity and their truth. Today, I have an amazing guest. Her name is Diane Amelia Read. She's a personal transformation coach. Diane is on a mission to make the world a more loving and interconnected place by helping people fall in love with themselves. She's an experienced advisor, helping women 45 to 65 get fit for good and create income doing it. Skilled in teaching techniques for personal development, personal growth, and sustainable transformation. Diane is a lifestyle coach for mindset, health, wellness, income, and a lifelong fulfillment, as well as a believer in people. Welcome, Diane. Thank you for being with me here.
Thanks for inviting me. I know, me too.
For this. So we had a very interesting introduction to one another, and I just completely fall in love with your energy and everything that you're doing. I just tell, I know a little, plenty of from our conversations that we've talked about. But for our audience, can you tell us, like, how did you start on this journey?
Well, I was born. That's really how I started. And, so at this moment in time, I have 64 trips around the sun. I have learned a lot in that time. I've had my personal ups and downs, and it's been a journey all along. I didn't start a business until the year I turned 60. I mean, in terms of a business to help women fall in love with themselves.
Yes.
And I do not exclude men. I work with men too, but my main focus is women. And I call on all the things that have been my lived experience. Some of it is formal training. Some of it is being in therapy. I have walked the talk and learned so much. And at a given time, a coach said to me, "You've got all these tools now. What are you going to do with them?" And that's when it was like, okay, I need to share. I have a vision for what I want to see in the world, which is a lot of love and people doing more of this, linking instead of separating. And I think the key to that is to have people really know. I love what you said about, stepping into the authenticity of one's self. That's beautiful in your introduction. And I totally share that vision with you, because I think if we feel good in our own skin, if we are comfortable with who we are, then it's really hard to be all snarky with others.
Yeah. So there are things that I drew from, my introduction of you and getting to know you that are pretty powerful that I want to share with our audience. And one of them, one nugget of wisdom is this: you started this at 60, later on in life. You took all these tools that you had learned through life and you applied it into a business. So number one, so important, it's never too late. It's never too late to start a business and to create sustainable income for yourself, to actually take the skills and the tools that you've learned in life and apply it towards, something fulfilling and purposeful and intentional. So I think that that's beautiful. But the other thing also is you're a personal transformation coach. And we know this transformation, personal transformation is becoming or fast growing, if it's not already, a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Mm.
There are coaches that are supporting personal transformation, and there are people that are seeking personal transformation. Can you share with us what your insights are as to why this is becoming so important in this time in our lives?
That's a great question. I think there's, I want to back up to say, yes, I did start this business when I was 60, and the voices in my head saying, are you out of your mind? You're 60 and you're starting a business in fitness? Come on, you're too old for that. And then culturally, I'm hearing, well, I'm over 60 now, and I don't move like I used to. And so I was fighting messages inside and out to make this happen. So to feel like I can still give myself permission to take a shot and build this business. I think there's there are a number of things happening in terms of a synergy. One, I'm part of the baby boom generation. There were a lot of us, and I think there were a lot who grew up with a single mindset. You work hard, you do the thing, then you get old, then you die. And I think en masse, people are breaking out of that mindset. It's like, no, there is more. I have this quiet voice inside that says, this can't be everything. This can't be it. I still have untapped potential. I feel I'm going to be great at something, and I don't even know what that is, but I know I could be. I think that voice has gotten amplified. And then I think we had the pandemic coming in, and that really just put the brakes on life for so many people, that once we got done shaking our head and saying, what is happening here? It's like, my life is interrupted, and that's actually okay. Because I didn't really like what I was doing, and I don't know what I'm going to do now, but I know I don't want to go back to the old thing, the old way, the old habits, the old routine. Because that little voice that we have, and I know you know this voice, it's that little whisper that says there's something more. Even when you don't know what more is, I know there's something. So I think just collectively, this has all kind of spun us into this questing that so many people are on right now.
Yeah. Thank you. I think it's so important that you talked about, the doubts, the objections, and the different things, the influences, and sort of, it's not always easy to make that shift. The voices are always there. That inner calling is always there. And a lot of people don't necessarily know why it's there. They don't know to distinguish that it is different than from your mind just thinking, and that it truly is your inner wisdom. So I think important to distinguish, it's not your monkey mind that's, going awry. It's actually a deeper calling that's coming from your soul, from the truth of who you are, that is telling you to break free. But it's also, and I almost forgot where I was going with this, but just listening to that inner calling, being able to distinguish again that it's not just your monkey mind going, and braving, having the courage to take the steps forward when, convention tells you otherwise. Everything that you've ever done, everything that you've ever learned before is all about safety and what is tried and true. And stepping into a new business, or stepping into a new process, or stepping into something new is very, very scary. So braving, as Brene Brown says, braving the wilderness, right? Having the courage to do something differently.
Well, and then to sustain that, because you can, just charge all up and take that first step. And then what? Oh my God, I've got to do it again. So it's not just starting change, it's maintaining that trajectory toward change. There's a great expression, new level, new devil. You break through, your comfort zone, and then, oh, you mean I have to do it again? Yeah, turns out you do. Because your comfort zone just gets wider, and you have to go beyond it again. And then again. That's how we grow. And that's what can be really scary internally. You were so right. Our primitive mind, what was the statistic I heard the other day, that we have between 60 and 80,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of them are negative. And there's a reason for that, because back in ancient times, like prehistoric times, it wasn't as important. It wasn't life-saving to remember where the most delicious strawberry patch was. You didn't need to remember the happy thing, but you sure had to remember where the bear cave was. So it's like, I have to stay with the things that are going to threaten me. I have to focus on those, because that will sustain my life. Now, I have walked this planet a long time and never encountered a bear cave. I have never walked into a lion.
It's a good thing.
Well, yeah, it is a good thing. But my brain is still trying to attach to danger.
Yes.
So this idea of our comfort zone presents the notion of danger, and man, our brains latch on to that, and it's like, don't do that. No, don't do that. Then externally, I see this happen a lot. People get on a fitness or a weight loss journey, and someone close in their life isn't. And that person says, are you saying I'm not good enough because I'm not doing this too? Are you too good for me now? And that, of course, is just that person's projection onto the person who is choosing to move forward with their health and fitness. But to that person, it's like, oh my gosh, I now have to choose between this decision to move forward or lose the love or the friendship of this other person who's so important to me. And, that's real. That's hard. That's because, if that's your spouse or your parent, wow, that's next level hard.
Thank you. You gave me a perfect segue to get into like the nuts and bolts of some of the work that you do, which is the health, the fitness, the wellness. When people come to you, what's going on? What's that tipping point that says, I got to do something? Is it the symptoms? Is it the weight loss? Is it, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired? What's going on with them? And you also work with a very specific age bracket. What does health and wellness look like for that?
I am so glad you asked that, because there is no one thing. Women in their mid-40s, maybe a lot of people are parenting older now. So they're 45 years old and thinking, I don't have any time for self-care. I've got littles, or I'm a soccer mom. I have no time for me. Can't do it. Or, I just hit menopause. There's no way my body's ever going to change. Why do I even try? It's pointless. And then, of course, people who are my age, or as you rightly point out, I'm too old to start anything new. My body's breaking down. That's just how it goes in life. And so people come to me with a sliver of hope. I would say that is the commonality. A mountain of doubt and a sliver of hope. How am I ever going to fit this in? And one of the nice things with pretty much everything I do, it works on a streaming platform. So it can fit your life whenever it fits your life. Whatever your personal brand of chaos is, there's going to be either like my Mindset Mastery Workshop Shine. I recommend you do that one time a week. It's about a half an hour. So sometime in that week, you're going to have that half an hour, even if you have to lock yourself in the bathroom and, have the headphones on so that nobody disturbs you. Same with the workout, same with the nutrition education, same with the meditation bits. Everything streams, so people who work with me get to choose when it's going to fit their day. And some people are coming because they, I will tell you, from the pandemic on, people have been coming for fitness because it helps with their mental health.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I gotta blow this off. I gotta blow out the cobwebs. I gotta blow out the anxiety. Give me hardcore cardio. Yeah. Or, you know what? I'm not sleeping well. I'm going to see if it's related to my diet. So, and I have a gut reset pathway. And so they might try that and find that. Or, I have a workout that streams. It's a 1-month program, and it's just like party dancing. And it's really fun. And there's a woman who I work with. She's in California, and we have a little group, and we meet on an app, and every morning she's posting like, I started my day at a party. This is awesome. So sometimes people just need to be uplifted, and sometimes it's more basic. They want to lose weight. They want to gain strength. Certainly for women my age, and I would even venture our age,
yes,
in that range, we need resistance training to keep our bodies strong, because as we lose the calcium in our bones over time, which is, part of what happens with aging, our bones get more delicate, more fragile.
Yes.
And so we have to have the muscle strength around those bones so that we don't snap them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the biggest myths or misperceptions that your clients have had that you've been able to bust for them?
There is one. I can't do this.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I even get a little choky, because it's such a beautiful thing to journey with people who transform from one idea about themselves to another. And I'm thinking of one woman in my group who, admittedly, she said, I'm the kid that was picked last for teams, for sports growing up. I've never felt athletic. And, then there was shame piled on that. And I don't think I can do this. Yeah. But again, that sliver of hope, I'm going to try. And now she's like 2 years in, and she is crushing workouts and just like posting these beaming pictures of herself. I mean, it's just the light in her eyes and the smile on her face just is pure evidence of how proud she feels of herself. She has come so far only because, and it has not been a straight path for her. Mm-hmm. She's had times where she has fallen off hard and given up on herself, but that's the beauty of my doing this in community, where others were like, come on, girl, you got this. You can do this, and we're here for you. Lean in. That was just a little blip on your chart. You had a few bad days, but this is only a little tiny slice of your whole path. Yeah. So get back on it. And that idea, I can't do this. I've had women, from their 40s into their 60s, all starting from that premise and all proving only to themselves, holy cow, not only can I did it. So I'm going to keep doing it. And it's wonderful. It is so satisfying. Yeah. Same thing with, I mentioned my mindset mastery. Sorry, I'm like prattling, but no. You made me think of one other thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same thing with people doing Shine. Little curious, a lot of doubt, but they start in, and by the end, I've had, one woman finally opened her Etsy store to sell her jewelry. She had in her mind that nobody would want her jewelry. Same thing with a woman who just published a beautiful book of poetry. Who would want to read my stuff? You know, after going through the 10 sessions where they looked at themselves in a new way, and suddenly was able to do something that had always been a want, but never felt possible. And just the glory of seeing people stepping, again, what you said, stepping into their authenticity, expressing themselves as an artist, as a poet. It was just beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. So you saying that actually is making me curious about, you know, as you're talking about the health and the wellness and the fitness and saying I can do it. And I started thinking a little bit about, there's so many health programs, so many health and wellness programs out there. I mean, and it's, you almost get analysis paralysis, like which one is it? Which one do I do? Which one I'm going to do? And then you have people, of course, that have basically almost tried them all, but never can stick to anything. Where would you say is the magic turnkey in this program? What is it about this program that helps people stick to it?
A couple of things. One, we're not asking perfection. My ask is show up, period. Show up if you're having a bad day. Show up if you're doing it poorly. Show up if you're making mistakes. Just show up. There's an accountability to our group. You know, like, you know, me, I didn't want to work out yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, this morning, there's my brain playing tricks. This morning, I woke up sluggish. I didn't want to, you know, yesterday I ate dinner too late last night. I had tacos and a margarita and, you know, way too late. And I woke up sluggish and I did not want to work out.
Yeah.
But I knew that all the other women on my team, in my community, in my crew, they were doing it. And if they could do it, I could do it. So the accountability to others. I am exactly the person you're describing. In the past, I have done workout programs and yeah, I'm doing this and I'm going to change for good. And yeah, and you've probably done the same, right?
Yeah, and then it's like it starts to fizzle out. It's like, wah, wah, wah.
Exactly. But having that built in helps. Having community to be accountable to helps. So knowing that this is not a program, it's a change in lifestyle.
Yes.
Helps me understand this is a big, big arc.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to start and then I'm going to be done. No, that's not how it goes. So, and in terms of the workout programs per se, there are some as short as a week, some are 100 days, some are 2 weeks, some are 8 weeks. I do one, I just start another one. I finish one, I start another one. I know I'm going to keep on doing this because that 30 minutes I give to myself multiple times a week keeps me vital, keeps me. So we talk too a lot about the why. And my job as coach is to help people. I can't motivate people. Motivation comes from inside. Yeah. But I can help you stay connected to why you are doing this. And I've had a lot of whys. I mean, a lot of whys. My personal why is I want to travel the planet surfing. And, you know, I didn't even surf for the first time until I was 58, but I fell in love with it. Am I good? No. Am I always going to be a learner? You bet. But I love it. And I know that I can't just wake up some random morning and go on a surfboard at 65, 6, 7, 8 years old without having some kind of body flexibility, body strength. So every day that I don't want to work out, I think about my crew. They're doing it. I can do it. And I want to pop up on that surfboard.
That is
That's my
awesome.
why. So other people, their why is they want to model for their children or their grandchildren how a woman cares for herself. Or one woman, she was going to Paris for the first time, and she's like, I
Wow.
want to have all kinds of energy to bounce around Paris, and right now I can hardly make it up a flight of stairs. And one woman, like legit, she was getting divorced after about 40 years, and she said, I want a revenge body. It's like,
Why
go
not?
girl, if that's your why, I'm gonna help you stay connected. And so that's my job, to help people remember this is a big arc, a lifestyle. Don't think of it like a program, something you're going to eventually stop. Because if you're going to eventually stop, you might as well just stop sooner.
Yeah.
But no, this is something that we're in it for the long haul.
Thank you, Diane. I so love your energy and I love your vibrancy, and you exude, this confidence. You exude this beautiful energy. You exude this vitality. And I'm sure a lot of that is a result of the work that you continuously do, and showing up not only for yourself, but showing up for your community. And I think one of the most important things that you talked about that resonates with me, and I'm sure will resonate with all of the women that listen to us, and it's something that I continue to repeat over and over again, and it's the message of many of the guests that I have on Diving Deep, is community. It's about tribe. It's about accountability. Now, we know that the pandemic has been harsh, has been difficult, has been extremely challenging on all of us as a human race. I think for women especially, and maybe I say this because I'm biased because I'm a woman, right? And I think that we're special and we're badass, and but we juggle a lot of things, and we are the caretakers, right? We take care of kids, of partners, of spouses, of siblings, of older parents. We do a lot and we juggle a lot, and many times we there's this sense like that we're in these silos on our own, and that no one understands or knows what our struggle is. So the pandemic, yes, isolating, but just in general, there's been this isolation of us as women, and programs like this and what you do, and even this podcast, is about coming together, about building community, about creating a tribe, about belonging, which is very different than fitting in. This is not about you need to be a certain way or do a certain thing in order for you to belong. It's you get to be your unique, authentic self, and you belong.
And you are welcome here.
And
absolutely.
you are welcome. But also to have accountability. It's, I got your back. I got you, we have each other. And I think that that is, this is one of the powerful lessons. This is one of those nuggets of wisdom that I'm getting from you and the community that you've built and the work that you're doing. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. And you're so, so right. And I think to just add to what you've said, as women, because we are so badass and wildly capable of doing all the things, we just put our heads down and do it.
Yeah.
And very often self-care is the first thing to fly out the window. Because we're so busy keeping all the balls in the air. And that can be domestic, family, friendships, work. And then, maybe you're in a faith community and you're involved there, or you're politically active, or you're doing volunteer work, or all of those things. And you're just like, juggle, juggle, juggle. And we often care for ourselves last.
Yeah.
So having a community, and there can be kind of like guilt or, just negative feelings, feeling selfish because you're taking time for yourself, when in fact, you've heard all the things. Fill your own cup, give from a cup that's full. Like being on a flight, put your own oxygen mask on first. And we hear that, but we don't necessarily do it, even though we know intellectually that it's right.
Yes.
We get messages, well, I'm selfish if I do that, and they really need, and I should, and, all the things that cause us to end up putting everybody and anything in front of us. So your idea of having community where we are held, we can lean in, somebody does have our back, and we can let our guard down and be our authentic self, even when that's messy. Yeah. So as you know, I've got this private app where my group is called Boom Tribe, because I love the idea of tribe, and because I'm a baby boomer, and because I love the idea of like, boom, mic drop. I just, I just flexed a muscle, or, boom, mic drop. I just published my poetry, or whatever it is. But we have very real conversations in this group. And, I've got people in the United States and Canada and the UK, and most people have never met face to face. And yet the bonds of this community are really dear. And there's a lot of love happening among people who have never met face to face. So community can be built anywhere. And I'm thinking of someone who put a very vulnerable post. It's easy on social media, and when we're communicating in writing, to slap on the varnish and make everything look pretty.
Yes.
And like we're living these great lives, but that's, and some days we are. Some days we're killing it.
Yeah.
But a lot of days, or at least some days, we're not.
Yeah.
And to step into that and to feel safe in sharing that. Like I'm thinking of someone who posted in our group, and this was so, so dear to me, because it happened at a time where I'd gotten a little bug, and I didn't check in with my group for like a day and a half, which for me is forever. But this happened. And so I was reading the stream of everyone else when I kind of picked up and jumped back in. And a woman was beating herself up because she had had a very tough experience in her family. Yeah. And she had chosen to soothe herself with some martinis and a big bag of chips. And the next day she was mad at herself. She thought she had let the group down. And then, I'm reading the stream. I got tears coming out my eyes. Mm-hmm. People are just pouring on the love. And, you learned, maybe this isn't the choice you want to make next time, but, I hope you enjoyed those martinis. I hope they lifted you for the moment. Now, come on back. You got this. And, if you backpedal again, we got you, but you belong here. That was one little thing in the arc of your life. Don't even sweat it. Don't look back. Just keep going forward. And like just this long stream of people offering her support and encouragement. Do you want me to message you privately? I'd be happy to talk you through with this. Do you want to be accountability partners? It was just this outpouring that filled my heart. And it also helped me know that I didn't have to be there for this to still be a rich community with support. And of course, my job as a coach is to provide that. But man, there was nothing I could have added to that conversation. It was beautiful.
That's so nice. That is so beautiful. And I think that's the power and the alchemy of transformation that occurs when we come together, you know, when we are in that safe space and when we are seen. I think that that's so important, and we're present with each other.
I suspect we have both had experiences of something that was not easy in our lives and didn't have community. Like for me, I had an eating disorder from the time I was 23 until the time I was 39. And I mean, this was before eating disorders were at all known.
Yeah.
And so I was so isolated about that. And, you know, eating disorders come with so much shame anyway,
Yeah.
that it was very lonely. And it made me feel less than. And it, you know, even though I was doing the super hard work to get that monkey off my back, I was very much alone in that. I didn't even talk to my partner about it. You know, it was just filled with shame. And I reflect on that, like, what would that experience have been like? How much more how much more quickly would my healing have accelerated if I had a group who also said, you can do this.
Yeah.
We got you. You can do this.
How
And
did
of
you
course,
so sorry.
no, go ahead.
How did you overcome it? Because I think you hit upon something that I would have asked anyway, you know, because we all have, I think that we can all say we have in common is that we've hit a low point somewhere in our life. And
Well,
that
more than once.
and more than once, right? And yet we've been able to overcome it. And from there, we have these genuine lessons that have really propelled us forward in life. How did you overcome it? What did it do for you in your life? How did it change you?
Whew, so my particular brand of eating disorder was bulimia. So that's a binging and purging behavior. And in pure self-preservation, I started going to therapy. I called a therapist. It's like, I don't know what's happening, but I know it's not good. And I don't want to, I got to get out of this.
Yeah.
And I had a therapist who, I mean, it took me, I was with that thing for 16 flipping years.
Yeah.
So I did not extract myself from it easily, but what I learned,
excuse me,
you know, anyone who's had a therapeutic experience, you know, there's a layer and then there's another layer and you peel off another layer and it reveals a deeper layer. And finally you get down to whatever that core nugget is. And for me, what I learned is, so I was just saying my parents had their humanity. My parents were definitely products of the Depression era, and they never had the luxury of self-reflection. That was just not on their radar. They, for a lot of reasons, they just, again, put their heads down, live their lives, and you just tough it out, and that's that. So in the family where I grew up, we spent a lot of time laughing, and that was wonderful. But that was also because my parents did not have the tools to deal with anger, to deal with expressions, you know, emotional expressions of anything really other than joy, happiness, laughter. So how that translated into me having an eating disorder was I learned really, really young that to keep my mom and dad's love, I needed to shove that ugly stuff down deep so they wouldn't have to deal with it. Because if they didn't have to deal with it, they would keep loving me. But our emotions are energy. Energy needs to flow. No emotion lasts forever. We're not happy nonstop. We're not sad nonstop. We're not angry nonstop. They need to flow. And my flow was blocked appropriately. It wasn't appropriate that it was blocked, but appropriate expression was blocked because I feared losing love.
Yeah.
So I substituted food and ejected that in lieu of sending out feelings of anger or upset. It took me a long time to unpack that. It took me a long time to not feel like I was beating up on my parents or saying, this is your fault. It wasn't, I mean, they just had their lives and they were great. But this was what I learned from their humanity. No judgment there. It's just, it is what it is. That was my interpretation of how to stay loved.
Yeah.
Massively dysfunctional, but that's what I did. So 16 years, I mean, it was almost 16 years of therapy.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. And one of the things I learned is when you are changing, observe and do not judge. And that is from that entire experience of me transforming from someone who would stuff herself with food and then vomit to the woman who does not need that behavior anymore. That is the one single thing that is most important. Just notice. Because as you're changing, change is hard. Change is hard.
Yeah.
And if you judge it, it's harder. But if you say, wow, I really stepped in it there, you can go two ways. And you're stupid, and you shouldn't have blah, 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 blah. Or you can say, let me reflect on that and see where I misstepped so that I don't misstep again. Two approaches. And if you can go with the just notice, just have a look, just like a reporter, that is going to help you change. But if you're piling on the judgment, you'll just stay in a cycle of piling on. So super long answer, but that's a really important nugget that I love to deliver to everyone I'm working with, whether it's fitness and nutrition or mindset or business building, because we have so many opportunities to screw up. And making mistakes is a really important, it's a critical part of learning. If you don't make mistakes, you just really don't learn. When things come easy, you don't really learn. It's when we make mistakes that we learn. It's how we deal with those mistakes that allow us to either move forward or stay stuck.
Boom. So that is a mic drop moment right there. That's a mic drop moment. Really being able to stop. And I say this selfishly as well, because I call myself a recovering perfectionist. You know, the person that doesn't allow themselves to make mistakes, but to be able to reframe that mistakes are not failures, that they are part of the process.
Yes.
That stop trying to run away from making mistakes. Stop trying to overthink things so that you won't make a mistake. Stop judging yourself when you make a mistake. Let's start appreciating, giving ourselves permission and leaning into making more mistakes.
100%. And I love the question, like, why haven't I gotten any further? Because you haven't made enough mistakes.
Yes. That's
it just
a good one. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for sharing that as well. What inspires you?
Mm, what a good question that is. Um, and the first thing that comes into my head is art.
Yeah.
But art is a lot of things. What inspires me is anyone living their life authentically,
Mhm.
anyone who is living their passion. And a friend of mine, I've known her since we were sophomores in high school, and we met in little theater, in high school little theater. And this past weekend, I went to see her open on Broadway.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
She has never been an actor and a waiter. She's never been an actor and something else. She's only ever done it. And it has not been a straight and smooth path, but she has lived her authenticity, and in multiple ways. That is very inspiring to me because yeah, and it's interesting to look at people who are public figures,
Yeah.
and how maybe they started in little theater and now they're on Broadway. But no, she is my friend, and I know her story, and I know her struggles, and I know what it's taken for her to live her authenticity. It's taken some sacrifice, but the joy that she shows up to, or up with each day, is absolutely contagious, because it's another day that she gets to be her, and that inspires me. To me, live a life well lived is art,
Yeah.
because it takes lots of little brush strokes to make it happen. Also, just art makes me happy, but the art of living well, very inspiring to me. What about you? What inspires you?
Oh my goodness, so many things on any given day, right? Because one of the practices that I care for very deeply is gratitude. And not just thinking about it, not just saying it, but writing it down and living it and sort of embodying that and really having that sense of, oh my God, I'm grateful, I'm grateful for taking this breath. I'm grateful for being alive. Um, I'm grateful to have all my senses, that I can walk, that I can talk, that I can feel, that I can taste, that I can, I'm this sentient being that I can take in all these things from the world around me. And today, what inspires me today is a couple of things in this early morning, because it's still, it's still like not even noontime today, right? I'm inspired by my daughter, Sasha. So I have three daughters. I have a 30-year-old, a 29-year-old, and a 24-year-old. And I was a young mother myself. I had Sasha when I was 17 years old. And I spent a lot of my life between 17 and probably now 48, right? Thinking about all the ways that I could have screwed up. I think I screwed up here. I think I just screwed up my kids. I was so young. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And yeah, at some point in my life, I was able to sort of change that negative self-talk, that guilt or shame or what feeling of insufficiency, of not enough, and have moments of, yeah, I did okay. I did really good here, pat myself in the back. I got through this moment. She's okay. She's doing well. So this morning I had a really long conversation with her because she texted me and she's like, Mom, are you available? I need to talk to somebody. And I don't take that for granted. I don't take that for granted at all. She could have called anyone. She could have texted anyone. One of her friends, she could have talked to her partner. She could have talked to her one of her sisters. But she texted me.
Yeah. And isn't that a testament to all the things you did right?
And so that inspires me. The person that she is and the woman that she is becoming inspires me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And the second thing is this podcast, believe it or not. You talk about art and being inspired by art. I never really thought myself to be a creative person, to be honest with you. In fact, I don't think I could do much art other than doodling a stick figure, even though I have dabbled in taking art classes and whatnot. But this is an art for me. This is an outlet of creativity, because it is a platform where I get to talk to and have like these amazing conversations with wonderful women as yourself. We get to have like really deep connections. And I think it's a place where we can see each other and say, heck, we are not so different at all, you and I. No?
Truth.
Besides that, we have the same body parts, but deep in our soul, we're not so different, you and I.
Yeah, it's true.
And for me, it's so important to drive, this message. And I post on social media from time to time about it. It's like the labels that are placed on us, but not only by our society, but it's everything from the moment that we're born. She's a girl. That's a label.
Yeah. And it comes with
thank you.
Yeah.
You can finish my sentence.
Yeah, it comes with a prescription.
Yes.
And we don't, here we are, these little beings, and we grow up and we are no more aware of these subtle expectations than a fish is aware of the water it's swimming in.
Yeah.
And we just swim. And it's not until we either have really woke parents or we get older in life and reflect, and it's like, oh my gosh, I hate pink. It's just so many things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel that this art, this creativity, this platform, it helps me to do away with those things, do away with anything that separates us, and bring together what makes us alike.
I am with you 2000%.
And so, authenticity, community, tribe, believing, seeing, being present, all these things. These are truly the things that matter. These are truly the things that matter. And so that was like my long story of what inspires me.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking me.
Of course. I think we are saying the same thing. My mission is to help the world become a more loving and interconnected place. You're saying the same thing. We are doing the same work.
Yeah.
And I think we hold a similar vision of the world we want to live in. And
yeah,
we look around and see lots and lots and lots of examples of things that are counter to that. But when we can find our commonality, when we can find our shared humanity, that I think is so much easier to do when we are living our authentic selves, that yeah, that's the world that you and I want to live in, and want to help make for others to live in too.
Absolutely.
Because just imagine what that world would be. Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any last thoughts, nuggets of wisdom, feelings that you want to share with our audience?
Well, one thing I want to say is that you are seriously awesome because you are seriously awesome. And you are seriously awesome for hosting this podcast and making this platform available. And I think when, we were talking about art is just a mode of expression. And this one is yours, and it's beautiful. And please don't stop doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with me and creating this beautiful art together in deep conversation, in authenticity, in sisterhood, for wellness, for health. I really appreciate you, Diane.
My great pleasure, Denise. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I will definitely have all the details on how you can get a hold of Diane and start your health or wellness journey, or transform into your next phase of health, wellness, business, whatever that may be. Diane can definitely share all those details with you. Tuning in wherever you may be tuning in, whether it's YouTube or Google Podcasts or Spotify, please like, share, help to grow this amazing community. And of course, so that we can continue sharing our art. Thank you. And till next time, goodbye.